What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be checking out a video from Walk with Niamh. At least that's how I think it's pronounced. Niamh. I looked up this name and it's a traditional Irish girl's name and it means radiant, I believe. Isn't that what it said?
It's a pretty name.
I've never seen the name before, so please forgive me if I'm butchering it. But anyways, guys, we are going to be checking out Derry, Northern Ireland for the first time, a Derry tour. Should you visit Ireland's most divided city? Now, I've obviously heard of Derry.
Yeah, I've heard of it too.
Outside of Belfast, Dublin, and Cork, I think Derry is the next most popular name that I hear of.
Yeah, most
when it comes to a city. Yeah, on the entire island of Ireland. Mm-hmm. So anyways, guys, what makes this city so divided? You know, obviously, I understand that there has been a great divide between Northern Ireland and Ireland, and I understand there's been this division between the Protestants and the Catholics, but that doesn't seem to be what we're seeing here in terms of a city itself being divided, right?
Can we go look at the map and see where Derry is?
Yeah, let's do that. All right, guys, so when I type in Derry, it comes up with Londonderry as well. This is the second largest city in Northern Ireland, obviously behind Belfast. It is the fifth largest on the island of Ireland. You know, I wonder what... So I believe that Dublin and Belfast are obviously the two largest cities on the entire island. And then from there, this is obviously the fifth largest. I believe Cork is probably either third or fourth. That's my guess. What is the other one?
Galway?
Oh, maybe Galway. Yeah, that's another one that you hear talked about quite often.
You're going to have to zoom out so I can get a feel for where
let's get. Oh, we're
like
okay.
Way up north,
We're up here at top. I wonder why it's called both Derry and Londonderry.
So today I've come to Derry because you told me I should check it out. Me and my partner have been lucky enough to visit Derry, Londonderry several times off camera, and it's one of our favourite cities. And the sun is shining, so let's find out what Derry has to offer. We'll walk around the city's 17th century walls, bump into some famous Derry girls and a wee English fella.
Oh, is that the Derry Girls?
The show?
Yeah.
And see why there's so much history, culture and crack packed into the North's second largest city.
Yeah. Oh, I like the bridge.
From Belfast Grand Central Station to Derry on the train. Made our way up Ireland's lush green countryside, passing through some coastal towns and...
Oh, I love that. I love it so much. I love the rocky cliff seasides.
Yeah.
We don't have them here. I mean, we do up north.
Well, in the Pacific Northwest.
I'm talking about us.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like where I'm from.
Of course, we're landlocked.
Well, yeah, we are literally 12 hours from the coast, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I miss being closer to the coast, but where I grew up, I was probably about 2.5 to 3 hours from the closest beach, but all the
beaches like that.
No, it's completely flat. Like
which they have their place.
Yeah, they do. They do, but it's just it's just different from what I'm used to. This is Downhill Beach and
Mussenden
Temple. That's beautiful.
Experiencing incredible coastal scenery before arriving in
look at that.
Alongside the Foyle River.
It looks like a pretty city from the distance. Look at that bridge, man. It's like, do you see that angle? Look at that. That's cool.
It's about a 20-minute walk to Derry city centre, walking over the Peace Bridge. But if, like me, you've arrived by train, a free shuttle bus operates to and from the city centre, and that's what I'm going to do. But if you want to explore the north of Ireland at your own pace, the Causeway coastal route is not to be missed.
Oh man,
the stunning 120-mile long route stretches from Belfast to Derry and is famous for its stunning coastlines and some of the most renowned attractions on the island of Ireland, along with the Wild Atlantic Way on the west coast of Ireland.
The Wild Atlantic.
The Causeway coastal route is one of the most picturesque road trips in the world, with stops including the Giant's Causeway, the Carrick-a-Reid rope bridge,
I've heard of that.
Bridges, and lots of beautiful beaches and towns. When visiting the north of Ireland, make sure to spend at least 2 days in Derry because there's plenty to do, and one of the first things you should do is walk along the city walls. Most of the major places of interest can be seen along here. The Derry city walls date back to 1613 and surround the entire old city. The still intact city walls are one of the finest examples of a walled city in all of Europe. The walk is approximately 1 mile and it should take you roughly an hour to walk around the walls in full. Or, like this group, you might even take a walking tour of the walls from a local guide.
There was over 140 bands.
Gosh, it just makes me want to dance every time.
I know. I wonder how old the cannons are.
She said the wall is 16.
Yeah, I wonder how old they are though. Butcher Day.
Fans of the TV show Derry Girls might
I've never
remember
seen
this
it.
area of the
I've
walls
heard it.
as where Orla came to Irish dance, and that's significant because during the Troubles many sections of these walls would have been inaccessible. From this viewpoint we can see the bogside area of Derry and the free Derry corner. We'll be checking out later in the video.
This is why you guys dance so much in Ireland, because with music
you
like this,
like you can't help but feel like you gotta get up and dance.
You have to. Like every time it comes on, I feel like
internal urge.
Yeah, I'm like about to bounce out of my chair.
It makes me want to pretend like I know how to do Riverdale.
Yeah, you do not want to see me try that. That would be horrible. I think Sophia would really like getting into that type of dance, though.
Yeah, she likes the more energetic type dance. So.
She's been doing ballet and tap, but she's also going to be doing hip hop or whatever.
Yeah, she really wants to start hip hop.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be a little bit more energetic than the ballet and stuff.
I was speaking to one of the tour guides earlier, and he said despite sieges and the Troubles in Derry, the city walls have never been breached, and that's why you'll hear some call it the Maiden City. I was also told Derry is one of the longest continuously inhabited places in Ireland. Evidence suggests that humans were present in Ireland as early as 31,000 BC.
Oh, wait.
No tour of any Irish city would be complete without visiting its cathedrals.
Okay,
yeah,
yes.
We're continuing walking along the city's walls to St Columb's Cathedral.
Oh.
It's one of the oldest and most historic buildings in Derry, dating back to 1633.
Okay, guys, if you followed along on my journey specifically, because Lindsay came along around the halfway point of starting this channel, I think you probably know how much I personally love the cathedrals. It's one of my favorite things. The different architecture and the stained glass windows are, you love it too,
and
though.
Just the symmetry of it all is just beautiful.
Yes, it's probably one of my most look forward to things to do when I come over.
When you actually go visit,
Yes, like I cannot wait to visit cathedrals. And then
libraries.
Oh, yeah, she's library. And what library is it? Is it the Dublin Library? I don't know, guys.
We haven't looked at it together.
There's I can't remember. It's the university.
Book of Kells?
That's there. I can't think of which library it is. What's the name of the library? Anyway, yes. She's the library head over here, the book head.
Library.
But I can't wait. And the second thing is cemeteries.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Love the cemeteries. Love the architecture. Those are two of my favorite things.
We like all the quiet places.
That's true. Libraries.
Cemeteries. Churches.
We like it where it's quiet as the dead. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And the cathedral was the first Protestant cathedral built after the Reformation. Wow. Unfortunately, it's closed to visitors today, but you can do tours inside the cathedral, and there's artifacts on display from the city's history, so it's definitely worth checking out.
Look at the cemetery, man. I'd love to read those headstones or these graves.
I'm just on Orchard Street, and I've got the Foyleside Shopping Centre to my right, and just ahead of me should be another popular thing to do when you're in Derry, is visiting the Derry Girls mural.
I
this
love
TV series follows the lives of working class teenagers
use the side of their
growing up
buildings
in
to paint these
1990s
beautiful
Derry
mirrors.
during the final years of the Troubles and signing of the Good Friday Agreement. And fans from around the world come to Derry to have their picture taking with this mural. In recent years, the mural has been split in half by an awning covering a pub's beer garden. I would love to enjoy the sun and a cool drink, but there's lots more of Derry to see. And no visit to Derry is complete without taking a walk to the Free Derry corner. The name Free Derry was given to the mainly
Free
Catholic
Derry.
areas of Bogside, Craigan and Brandywell. Walking here will take about 10 minutes from the Guildhall in the centre of Derry. The Bogside was a focal point at the start of the Troubles.
Hold on, I want to see this. A corner with a difference, known as Agro Corner, at the foot of Roseville Street. It was there at the Battle of the Bogside where people used to meet. All those years of our troubles you can capture in one day at the gateway to the Bogside, the People's Gallery on display. They brought the Bogside back to life from its darkest days of trouble and strife. Their painted murals on each gable wall have become world famous and the fairest of all. Reflecting memories of our past, each one a treasure that will last, they give back to the people what we thought was gone. Thanks to the Bogside artists, our memories will live on. Wow. So these are all different murals?
On sides
That's
of the building.
awesome. I love that.
I still don't quite. I've heard that term before. I've heard of that particular phrase, the Troubles, in regards to Ireland, but I still don't know exactly what it was.
Yeah, I haven't. I've dug into that a tiny little bit, but yeah, we definitely need to go into that.
Beginning with the three-day Battle of the Bogside in 1969. The unrest in the area continued intensely until around 1972. The legacy of the Troubles can be traced back to the Battle of the Bogside in 1969, which is widely seen as one of the first major
Unity referendum now. British occupation has been a disaster for the people of Ireland. Unite Ireland is the way forward for all the people of Ireland.
Oh, so this like calling for no more Northern Ireland and Republic of Ireland.
Yeah.
They want to unite and
Yeah,
become one again.
I think so, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I get so confused by all of this. It seems like there was over the last, well, those decades, there was all this trouble.
Different types of turmoil.
It seems like there's so many different moving parts, at least to an outsider. It just
Right.
like, I have a hard time grasping it all.
Yeah, me too.
And maybe I think to people that are within Ireland is obviously
Probably simple.
It's probably very simple, and it's probably my mind
Complicating
it more. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I hear all these different words and different dates and stuff, and so when you hear that from an outsider perspective, it's really hard to grasp exactly.
Right, like what's related and what isn't. And,
Right,
yeah.
all that, So that's something I'd really like to dive in and be able to fully grasp the whole picture of what all the infighting has been about,
Right.
where the divisions have come from. As we know, Protestant and Catholic, is the greatest division, at least in my mind. That's like at least where my mind goes to when I think of that
maybe it
division.
wasn't the greatest.
And maybe it's not the greatest division, because I must say I've had a hard time kind of trying to understand that, because we didn't grow up in a society where Catholics and Protestants really fought. It was like everybody knows a Catholic and everybody knows a Protestant, and it's never
you
been a
just
thing.
coexist.
Yeah, so, and I don't know if the Catholic Protestant division is overblown, like if in my mind,
Right.
or if it's actually really
If it really was that big of a deal.
that big of a deal. I don't know, guys. If anybody wants to explain some of that in the comments, please feel free to do so.
confrontations of the Troubles. Painted in 1969, Free Derry Corner became an iconic site during the Troubles and Civil Rights Movement. Today, it's become one of Derry's most visited tourist attractions.
Wow, look at that painting.
Yeah, it's really cool.
The People's Priest. This garden of reflection has been dedicated in honor of the late Bishop of Derry. For gratitude and thanksgiving for the wonderful work for the people of Derry and beyond. Rest in peace. Wow. That's a powerful mural right there.
Bloody Sunday took place on January 30th, 1972, when British paratroopers opened fire on protesters. This mural depicts the 13 innocent civilians killed that day, and many more were injured. One of the most famous monuments you'll see here is the Bloody Sunday Monument. If you ever wondered what the famous U2 song was about, that's what it is.
It's kind of surprising to me, like the dates she's saying, how recent they were.
Yeah, very true.
These murals not only pay tribute to the people of the city of Derry, but also to human rights activists like Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King Jr. and Mother Teresa.
Wow.
If you want to learn more about the really recent history in this area, there's the Museum of Free Derry, or you can take a walking tour here with local guides. There's another monument dedicated to the 10 hunger strike victims who were imprisoned at HMP Longkesh during the 1980s, during a showdown with British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. One of the most well-known victims was Bobby Sands, who was elected as a Member of Parliament during the strike.
Derry Craft Village.
This is Derry's Craft Village. It's tucked away in the wee side streets.
I love all the
But the
murals.
Craft
Yeah,
Village
I
is a
love that.
lovely alleyway filled with gift shops.
Oh, that's
and boutiques,
beautiful.
leading to a covered village square in its centre.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah, that's cute.
This is very quaint. It's just very walkable, and the Irish shop. Oh my goodness, I love this spot
Yeah.
right here. I think
It's got a lot of character.
I think if I lived in this city, this is where I spend a lot of my time. It just seems like, yeah, it's got such character, and there's just all these little shops and stuff. I think you would really love this. What did it mean by craft? Is this the crafting area? Like
maybe like handmade goods
Oh,
or
okay.
things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, this is a really cool area right here. It just seemed like it was like just kind of almost hidden in a way, like behind all these buildings and whatnot.
Peaceful.
Yeah. I wish we
Check
had more
out.
of this
A traditional
here.
Irish cottage with thatched roof.
Oh, look at that.
How cute is that? You might want to stop off for coffee and cake.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
The amount of detail on the outside,
I know.
you know the inside is amazing.
Yeah.
Our next stop is Guildhall, and it's a must
Guildhall.
visit when you're in the city. It's been the backdrop to some of Derry's most recent events, including President Clinton's visit to Derry in 1995. He gave a speech to a packed Guildhall Square, and a scene which was later recreated on Derry Girls. Let's head in and take a look. It's free to look around.
Oh, the stained glass, man.
One of the highlights of the Guildhall is the number of stained glass windows,
Wow.
each telling a different story of Derry's history. I love how the sunlight spills through the stained glass.
Look at that ceiling.
Yes.
John Hume was widely credited with crafting the peace process in Northern Ireland, and the Guildhall is also where the Bloody Sunday hearings took place from 2000 to 2004, and you can learn all about it.
Wow. This is where I'd spend a lot of my time. Places like that.
Michael Bradley, innocent. Patrick Campbell, innocent. Lady Dewey, innocent. Daniel Gillespie, innocent. Diane Bryant.
Is that an organ?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So each stained glass tells a
Tells the
story
story
of the
of-
history of
yeah,
the
of the
city.
city.
That's amazing. Londonderry Standard. Or Londonderry.
If you love finding out about the history of the place you're visiting, one thing Derry is not short of is museums. There's plenty across the city, including the Siege Museum, the Museum of Free Derry, and the Tower Museum. Unfortunately, we can't visit them all today, but it's definitely worth spending a few days here to fully explore the city
Oh,
and
cool.
experience some of Derry's culture.
I wonder if
And
that
currently,
building's as
there's a
old
Derry
as it
Girls
looks.
experience where you
know
can
what I
see
mean?
original memorabilia from the show, like Erin's Derry, the Spice Girls costumes, and the set of the Quinn's house.
This makes me want to watch that show.
Yeah.
Oh, wedding?
They get married in there? Is that like an active church?
I have no idea.
This is a pretty area. What is that? You see that? Peace
Flame.
Peace flame? Mm-hmm. I wonder if at night it lights up.
Probably. I think the bridge over there is a pedestrian bridge, right?
I think it is. I love how it was like...
I know, it was like curvy and tilted.
I've never seen a bridge like that. It's called the Peace Bridge,
I'm just
right?
crossing the River Foyle on the Peace Bridge. Opened in 2011, the Peace Bridge is a pedestrian link spanning the River Foyle that connects Ebbington Square and the waterside area to the city centre. This bridge has brought Derry together, helping to connect the two sides both geographically and symbolically.
Sleight of hand, left twist of fate, a bit of veil, she makes me win.
I'm heading to the train station to catch my train back to Belfast, and I've just noticed there's a newly open waterfront trail that I can walk along that brings me to the train station.
This looks like such a walkable city.
And very rich in history.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you would have a lot to learn and immerse yourself in if you visit.
It seems like around every corner you have like beautiful murals, museums, some incredible cathedrals.
Yeah.
I just love the whole layout of what we saw here. Obviously, she couldn't film, everything,
Right.
but based off of what we saw here, it just looks like the type of city that you wouldn't need a car.
Right.
And you could just walk around, and it looks like it's one of those cities that have these little nooks and crannies, and like you saw what I forgot what it's called,
The shops,
what was it called?
Craft
the
Village,
Craft
right?
Village. To me, I love areas like that.
Yeah.
It's just so beautiful and quaint. And, some people say quaint is bad. I think quaint is good.
Yeah.
When I say quaint, I mean
That's a
something
compliment.
is awesome. Like, I love quaint places.
Me too.
They're just cozy, and it's the type of place that, like, look at that. Mm-hmm. To me, that's just incredible. Like, I wish we had this type of a feel here.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I love our town. We have a pretty cool town. The people are friendly, and there's cool things to do or whatever. But like, it's not walkable on this level.
Well, and it's not old like this.
Yeah, that's the difference too. Yeah, I think that's the difference. When you have these much older areas, it's much more likely that they built the buildings in a way that it is more walkable. And well, you can't really drive through here. You know what I mean? You'd have to like literally tear down buildings, I suppose. But I do sometimes wish I lived in a place that was like this, to where I could just take a bike around, or just walk. How cool would that be? We have a little bit of that downtown, I guess, and we can walk different places, but
Parts of the city.
and I guess here you can walk everywhere, but it just looks very walkable, and I appreciate that. But guys, beautiful place. I love the history aspect. It makes me want to learn more about the history.
And it also makes me want to watch the show Derry Girls.
Yes,
When we were looking up where it was on the map, that was one of the suggestions that popped up.
Yeah, it seems like this place was very involved with a lot of the troubles and the strife that was going on. Obviously, it says, should you visit Ireland's most divided city? I didn't really gather what was so divided about the city.
Why it was divided.
She did say something about
the bog side.
Well, she said something about the bridge brought both sides together.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if she literally means by divided city a geographical divide by the river, so it's the most divided city. I think
there was more to it.
No, I do. That's what I'm saying. I think there's more to it. I think there is, like, she's talking about an emotional divide or a fighting divide, if you will. The only thing I can imagine, maybe it was because there was a lot of the fighting here. But beyond that, maybe this is a place where you'll find a huge mix of both the Protestants and the Catholics, or maybe a huge mix of people that, what do you call it? There's one side that wants to unify the entire island together, and there's one side that likes having Northern Ireland separate from the Republic.
Right.
And maybe that's part of what it is too.
I kind of feel like it's that.
That's kind of what I think,
Especially
maybe
with that
too.
sign we were reading.
Right.
But we're just guessing.
Yeah,
so.
we are just guessing, guys. please let us know in the comments what exactly is meant by the most divided city. Is that actually something that is known in the area, that you guys, or Derry specifically, is known as the most divided city on the island of Ireland?
I'm kind of surprised if it is the most divided city, because I would expect the most divided city to be closer to like the border.
I would too. Yeah.
Northern Ireland and Ireland.
Yeah.
So that kind of
That's very true. I would have thought it would be closer to the border as well, because this was like almost completely up north.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting. But guys, and also I would like to mention that based off of what we've seen here, and you know, you're just seeing this walkthrough and whatnot,
Right.
it seems very peaceful for a divided city. Or maybe it used to be divided.
I was going to say,
maybe it's not so much anymore.
past, it probably wasn't as peaceful, but
Anyways, guys, incredible place. Love it. Definitely will be on the list when we get over to Ireland to come over to Derry for a visit. But I think that's it for us today. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please click that like button. Feel free to drop your comments or suggestions about this video or others. And don't forget to subscribe to continue to follow us on our journey to discover anything and everything about the UK and Ireland. Until next time, guys. Peace.